We're gonna welcome our next speaker, our next talk, which is gonna be, I think I'm really looking forward for it. So please give a round of applause for Dane Hamer. He is the VP Growth and Marketing at MetaKing Studios, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the missing art and science in building community brand in Web3. So that's you.
That is me.
Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward for our talk. I think it's going to be very interesting. Just as an introduction, this guy I have in my left is a growth-focused entrepreneur recognized for numerous global creative awards in many industries such as entertainment, film, music, tech, collaboration with studios, brands such as Universal, Lucasfilm, Netflix, Apple, Disney, Google, Epic Games, PlayStation, OPPO or OnePlus, Facebook, Amazon, Samsung, Unilever, FIFA, and the Olympics Committee. So he has worked with some guys there.
Apologies, it's a long list.
It's a good bug. It's a good context. And yeah, actually the list goes on. He was fortunate to be in the water and ride the wave from Web 1 to Web 2, or the IT boom, witnessing epic battles between Microsoft or Bill Gates and Apple or Steve Jobs, which inspired him to study computer engineering, which he hated as he wanted to talk to people, not computers. So, to working with Google and Facebook in their infancy from a media and technology perspective, creating products and solutions for brands to connect with people. We share that engineering background and we share that communication present. So I really enjoy talking to you behind the scenes. Let's have a conversation. Thank you for being here.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So we have a presentation for him. I don't know if we can find it, but I think I'm just going to leave it to you and let's talk from there.
No, well, thank you. That was a very kind, elaborate, and generous introduction. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I guess, well, first, thank you very much for having me. I think it's a special place to be. I was getting on the plane last night from London, and it was pissing with rain. It was pretty dreadful. So as I got onto the plane, the thought of arriving in Ibiza with good energy and good weather immediately lit the mood. So yeah, thanks so much for having me. Thanks for putting this together. It's quite special. It's quite nice for. I guess the gratitude of us being able to do this again is just a fortune. So yeah, thank you for all of that. I guess a quick introduction on block lords. So block lords currently kind of my baby or main project. Was envisioned and conceptualized by David Johansen, the founder, creator of block lords. And what he wanted to do was ultimately create a medieval metaverse that combines the best aspects of three iconic strategy games through Age of Empires, so taking the asymmetric civilization resource farming, Crusader Kings, which is ultimately a dynasty simulator, the political warfare, family politics in running a dynasty, and then Total War. Total War ultimately just being, epic battle scenes. Building it on blockchain through a Game of Thrones narrative, and then with it being on blockchain, it allows the gamer, the player, full ownership of how they define their NFT or euros worth through their own deeds and actions in the game. But as the ultimate prize, there's through the gamer being able to actually have full control of their Euro character or NFT, they can, build a legendary Euro in the game, which for gamers nowadays is, status and fame is ultimately the ultimate incentive. So by building this character in the game, they then get to feature in Blocklords, the movie, and the episodic TV series. So yeah, that's a quick snapshot of Blocklords. So we've gone pretty hard on the combination of gaming and entertainment. So whilst we're building the game with this epic open world and open source, we're going very hard on telling the story behind the Blocklords and building the brand throughout that. And yeah, we released our very first cinematic minisode about a month ago. So yeah, if you may share. Don't think there's sound.
Should I sing?
No, it's pretty intricate audio.
looks like it comes with an epic audio. Looks it has an epic audio, yes.
That is an explosive sound.
Subtitles.
That's the king getting up from the explosion, now regaining his energy, and there's the enemy at the door.
It's a crazy
he picks up his sword, he prepares for battle as the enemy approaches, and it's a pretty epic closing sequence with his voiceover, but it's on YouTube. Yeah, we were very lucky. So we've got partners and friends through GameStop who publish all of our content, and within 24 hours we were lucky enough to hit 1 million views with that. It's okay. So yeah, that's a quick snapshot of Blocklords. But yeah, what I wanted to do is kind of talk about my observations, not only throughout the last 2 years being in web3, but moreover, what we've done historically, and my experience through the evolution of Web 1 to Web 2, and ultimately so yeah, like the evolution of kind of going from Web 1 to Web 2, the information economy, and then secondly, like a platform economy. And very fortunate to have worked with a lot of these brands and companies. And yeah, it was kind of a time of experimentation, which is exactly where we are at the moment with Web3. We're experimenting. We heard play to earn. That was an experiment. But it's funny that through experimentation you learn, and even though we learn from our mistakes, as people we just don't seem to want to apply those learnings future forward. So that's why I wanted to kind of just outline that we're making the same mistakes again. And I see this happening. It's kind of like deja vu. It's kind of happening again. Exactly the same thing as what we were doing in 2008. And I've tried to use a few examples to illustrate the point of mistakes that's been made, and then learnings for us to use in applying those to avoid the traps, right? So this is a product that Pepsi launched in the late 80s, and they tried to essentially take on the whole coffee sector. And by adding a little bit of caffeine within a fizzy soft drink, expected to challenge coffee, but yeah, I mean, it's not quite how they wanted it to turn out. Then again, you probably won't even know, but Windows also tried to challenge the phone sector, right? So they actually did try to challenge Apple. There's the very famous Google glasses, right? We all remember that. And then there's obviously things like Virtual Boy, right? So a combination of those things, and then there's a few other entertaining ones like Segway. So the funny thing is that and the thing that all of these examples have in common is that there's one thing missing, and that's the actual consideration of people, right? And actually, if people would want, would people want a cold Pepsi to replace their delicious hot coffee? No. Did people want to be reminded of their, personal or, office computer every time they went onto their mobile phone to message a friend in social occasions? No. Did people want to actually leave the house and look somewhat perverse with a camera strapped to their face? No. And did people really want to replace walking with a rather risky, dangerous alternative in a Segway? No. So yeah, I guess the main thing to kind of observe from those mistakes is that these guys were so preoccupied about being able to thinking of like whether or not they could do it versus whether or not they should do it. And not once, in the boardroom or wherever these ideas came up, did they actually think about the user, the people behind actually, the product. And we're doing the exact same thing at the moment with web3. We're all kind of dancing around, screaming about this amazing technology in blockchain and NFTs and DeFi, and no one really understands what we're talking about. No one. The average person doesn't know what we're talking about. We heard references about the metaverse, all these things, and we're basically talking at people instead of like talking with people. And also, the evidence is all around us. There's a huge amount of resistance, objections to, all these promises that we forecast or predict within the technology. And there's, the people are telling us they don't know it, they don't understand it, and they don't see the benefit of the tech. It's another example would be, SMS. When SMS first came out, did you care about how the SMS or the message made it to your phone? Did you care about the protocol and the variety of different portals that the message had to travel through to end up on your phone? No, you didn't give a shit about that. You cared about being able to provide and share information. We're doing the opposite. We're continuously talking about like the value of the technology, but we're not talking about how it can actually help users or people. Because ultimately, people only care about one thing, and that's how you make them feel. We're emotional creatures, and the thing that evokes the best reaction out of people is fun, and how they can use our brand or product as a sense of enjoyment, a sense of entertainment, a sense of fun. And I guess to avoid these things, I've kind of like thought about, 4 principles that could help. Mantras are maybe it's maybe a word too big to use in this presentation filled with memes and GIFs, but it's essentially just like 4 guiding principles. For one, and I hate to tell you this because I'm still struggling to get over it myself, but no one gives a shit about your product or your specs. Like, no one does. And it's a hard thing to hear, and I'm still trying to get over it myself. But if you ask someone about what megapixel their phone has, they don't care. They just want to take cool photos and share it with their mates. And the funny thing is if you think about products like they ultimately, the game, they saw success for the exact opposite reason, for low specs. They took a very simple mechanic and they just made it a lot more fun. So the other one is and I hate to be I hate negativity, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the other thing is that no one really cares about your brand. Which, it's the self-indulgence of us as marketers and brand managers. People need to care, they need to understand, but unless you make them feel and understand why they need your brand, there's no reason for them to need your product or your service or your brand. There's no reason why they should relate to it. And then, but this is quite an obvious one. Well, I guess I've kind of seen it a lot through research, but people don't care about anything else really but themselves. Innately, that's an instinctive human trait, is that, what's in it for me? And if you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they're all based on emotions. They're all based on feelings. There's no specifications or functional needs in there. It's all emotional. And then the last one is, people want to be part of something bigger than themselves. People want to be part of something larger than, just a one-dimensional opinion, or that being, examples like religion or culture or, brand. Like, they want to belong and identify with certain things that associate with their emotions and their feelings. The earth is flat. There's a huge amount of people that still believe the earth is flat, So there's definitely like a pattern in people wanting to be part of something bigger than themselves. And then obviously I had to throw this in because it's obviously relevant, and it speaks the truth, right? So those are kind of the 4 things that I've kind of learned in a short time in Web3 or blockchain that can hopefully help you guys, but has helped me avoid making the same mistakes. But I guess kind of leaving it with like the final and golden rule is just listen. Like, the information literally, like, people now through community have voices and they want to be heard, and it's right in front of us. Instead of talking, just listen for a bit and tune into your community, tune into your fans, tune into your users, the people that actually use your technology, use your product. Let them tell you what they want. And then, I knew I was going to forget about this, but at the start of the presentation, I was supposed to mention that there's an Easter egg hidden in the presentation for you guys to try and find the Easter egg, but I forgot to mention that. But there's your Easter egg. Feel free to snap it with your phone. You can claim a free NFT on Blocklords. It's specifically designed for you guys, so please claim it. It's there for you and up for grabs. And yeah, if there's anything else, I'm available. I'm super keen to chat. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the views presented earlier. So I'll be around. Just pull me up, and yeah, we can have a chin wag. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dane, for this presentation and reminding us that, yeah, at the end of the day, we're building for people, and innovation has to, in a way, make us closer or make that community be more meaningful. So, in your like adventures through Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, what makes you more excited about Web 3 that actually allows us to create those communities? What it is that thing that you think that Web 3 allows us to get closer to that golden rule of actually caring about the community and making us feel as we're part of something bigger?
I mean, I guess for me, it's the sense or the hope of freedom. I'm personally, I'm quite a rebel at heart. And I think what Web3 or blockchain represents for me is freedom, and it's decentralization. It's taking back control and putting us in control. You know, as the user, as the person, as the community. It allows us freedom to transact as we like, to exchange our data as we like, to take control of our data, for one. A variety of things, you know, to own what we earn, or to own what we win. Like, there's so much, but I guess kind of the principle for me is freedom, and I think that's the thing that gets everyone so optimistic. And it's amazing. The optimism and the positivity and the hope and the belief of what this represents is astonishing. And I guess kind of once you see that, it's game over, because there's no turning back. So yeah, to me, it's the sense of freedom. Thank you.
Is anybody there wanting to ask something for Dane?
Yeah, please. I'm happy to chat and have any questions.
We have a question here.
Okay. Yeah, my question is, do you have like a predefined roadmap in order to kickstart a community? I know the answer is going to be no. Every community is different by itself, but are there any steps you would recommend someone who's starting to do that?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's for me, there's like a very clear roadmap. I think you first need to do some deep analysis of like why you're doing what you're doing as a business or as a brand. You have to have a real purpose. So once you find your thing and you have your purpose that gives what you're doing meaning, then you need to communicate that to your community and build a community around the purpose or the meaning that your brand or business represents. For us, we've been quite lucky because we've got a franchise that represents like this beautiful, you know, historical medieval world that's full of tales of yore. It's been done for centuries. And then, you know, we're in gaming and we're in entertainment. So for us, it's fun. You know, so, which is like, it's such a simple thing. And when I first started banging on about it to our founder, he was like, yeah, I'm just not sure about this fun thing, man. I was like, dude, it's the only thing people really want to do. Like, honestly, they don't want to join the Discord, they don't want to join the Twitter, they don't want to like sign up for this and sign up, they just want to have fun, you know? So let the people have fun, but find your thing, you know, your thing may not be fun. Once you find your thing, like clearly articulate it, so that people can, you know, associate with it, and like everything, you know, like Apple, their thing is like taking technology and making it useful for everyone around the world, you know, helping people adopt technology, making things easier. That's something anyone can sign up to, you know. Google, organizing information, you know, providing you with an easy way to access an abundance of information. That's what we all buy into, right? So I guess, yeah, find your thing in why you're doing what you're doing. If you're doing it for money, then that's not going to work. If you're doing it for just, you know, the hype and wanting to be part of like this cool, crazy movement, that's probably not going to work. You need to do some, you know, like deeply interrogative work as like, why are you doing this, you know? And once you find that, everything comes, it'll be easy. The rest, they will come, you know. The community will build itself. You just have to give them something to hold on to. Sorry, that's a long answer to a very good question.
Do you have another question there?
Yeah. What's up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
We met at the pool this morning.
Yes, I was in my swimming trunks and I saw you with your cool shirt, so we had a chat.
Yeah, it gave me away. Nice to meet you again. Thanks for the presentation here. So I don't know if you actually covered this in your presentation.
Yeah.
Multitasking going on. But what I wanted to know was how you're planning to sort of interact with other NFT ecosystems and gaming ecosystems, if the NFTs that you own on this platform will be transferable, or how you can kind of create those external economies.
You guys hear that? So I guess, you know, for now we're experimenting. So our entire kind of value or motto within the business or in the company, within the brand, is always in beta, meaning like how can we make it better, right? So we never have a firm right or wrong answer. So for me to answer that question, it's kind of like I don't know. To be absolutely honest. But what we're doing is constantly, we're very open. We collaborate. I mean, we've got like 40 different partners, investors, you know, so we're very open to collaborate, learn from others, experiment with others. So yeah, so we're open to collaborate, open to experimentation. So I guess to answer your question, which will probably happen over the next 2 months. So we're launching like 10% of our full NFT volume in November. And that is purely because, you know, people may think we're insane, but it's not because we want to establish a successful NFT project. It's purely for us to be able to learn. So we're releasing 10%, a small amount of volume, that we can then use to iterate based on the reaction from the community, from the market, that we can use that data to then iterate and learn to apply for, you know, when we do release more of our NFTs, which ultimately, like our NFTs are Euro characters, they're in-game characters. So yeah, in terms of transferring all of that stuff, like we're open source, man. So if there's an opportunity, we'll take it. Yeah, I'm not sure that answers your question, but I hope it gives you an idea.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, audience.